Hello. We've just had some rather distressing news in the United Kingdom. The Parliament has voted to decriminalise abortion from 24 weeks to birth. That is a significant and rather troubling state of affairs. Let's just try and make sure that we are rational about this, because it's very easy for the emotions to kick in, and we need to understand exactly what's happening. MPs have voted to decriminalise, which means that it is no longer a criminal offence to abort a child between 24 weeks and birth, or at least it will be when the Act passes. It's still, at the moment, 24 weeks is still the cut-off point. Whether you agree with that or not, that's the fact. Now, of course, there are some very delicate issues here, and we need to be mindful that there are delicate issues here. For example, it has been the case where women have been thrown into jail for having a miscarriage. That's happened historically in this country, and it still happens in other countries, where the baby dies and is ejected by the woman. And clearly, that is not a criminal act. It is something desperately sad, but it is not the fault of the mother. There are other issues too. What happens if a baby dies inside the mother? Should she be allowed to have the baby removed? And the answer should be yes, she should be allowed to have the baby removed, because the baby is dead. So the baby should be removed with all due respect and given a decent burial as befits a human person. Now, the Anglican Catholic Church, along with the Roman Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church and so many other Christians, are very clear that we believe that life begins at conception. And so whatever's inside a woman, whether it looks like a clump of cells, whether it looks indistinguishable from some other baby creatures, whatever it is, it has human genetics, it's developing into a human being, it is a person. And if it is a person, it has the right to life. So this is our stance. And it's a reasonable stance, because it also, notice, it doesn't require a belief in God. So it's certainly a stance that can be held by anyone of any religion. Of course, for us Christians, we regard life as sacred, from birth to death, from conception to birth to death. And so we must understand that if we are going to end a baby's life in the womb, because that's what an abortion is, a termination of a pregnancy is a termination of a human life, then we must understand what that is legally. To end someone's life who is innocent of any criminal offence is, at the very least, an unlawful killing. However we dress it up, that's what it is. And unlawful killing ranges from premeditated murder, manslaughter, that sort of idea. It's a killing because a baby dies. It's unlawful because there is no reason for the baby's life to be ended. Because that baby is its own person. So now, what does this mean with this Parliament's Act? To decriminalise abortion, to say that it is not actually an unlawful killing, means it is put a lesser value on human life before birth. The same Parliament has voted for euthanasia, that euthanasia should be made legal, which means that death and how we die is now a matter of human decision. So this Parliament has essentially voted that the life of a human being depends upon the law of Parliament. Parliament has taken it upon itself to say when people start existing legally and when they stop existing legally. It's taken upon itself to say whether a life can be terminated and when, under what circumstances, i.e. that there are circumstances where a life can be legitimately terminated. And that decision is a parliamentary decision. It's a legal decision. It's not a moral decision. So that essentially means that Parliament is now standing against the very decency of human existence and sees human existence as something that can be voted upon. To have the vote itself means that we get to choose, which means that you can abort Down syndrome children, despite the fact that children with Down syndrome live very fulfilling and happy lives. It means you can abort children that are disabled, that they don't have to live lives at all. Parliament gets to say. So, also, it was interesting that the MPs were allowed to vote according to their conscience, which was interesting because as my MP represents me in Parliament, I was not asked for my opinion on the matter, so that she could represent my opinion in Parliament. Which means that Parliament has now ceased to be representative of the people. Parliament is now representative of ideologies, political ideologies. rather political ideologies that should be imposed upon people because they are seen as the best ideologies. So the vote that we've seen shows very, very clearly how the government in this country is working. It is not representative. It's based on ideologies that are contrary to human flourishing. And I find that desperately sad and something to pray about desperately and deeply. And I would invite all of you to make your prayers and supplications to God. Because quite clearly, what we see is not God's will. And it is not even a will for human flourishing, but rather a seeing of the human existence as a materialist nothingness. That is the situation, and it is a situation that will colour this Parliament and will also colour how this country now develops. And we have to think very carefully as Christians what we are going to do. And what we must do always begins with loving the Lord our God with all our hearts, with all our souls, with all our minds, with all our strength, and loving our neighbour as ourselves. And within those parameters, that is where the Christian commitment, the Christian commission must be. So God bless you. God bless you if you are wrestling with the issue. May God guide you and govern your heart, that you may see the truth of His will, of His morality, of His love. God bless you if you are a Member of Parliament, a member of the House of Lords. God bless you that you may learn to follow the right decision, to turn from the belittling of the human life and reducing it to something that can be voted on, that you may lead this country into the ways of justice, truth and mercy, which lie above the remit of Parliament. And God bless you, that with the holy innocents in heaven, we may take our place in worship of the Divine Master and work for the flourishing of every single human being. God bless you, and please pray for me.